Good morning, everybody. We are back to Big Ben on Campus. We are live. NFL Week 13 preview. My name is Jeff. They call me the Big Ben on Campus. Here with my co-host Ryan. Ryan, it's another week. It's NFL Week 13. College football is over. Bowls are to be had, and that's about it. But NFL just really kind of getting it going here as far as the playoffs are concerned. You know, starting to see playoff pictures and wild card standings, all sorts of things. And this is another big week for the big boys. It's December 4th, 2016. How you doing today?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing real well. Thanks. Yeah, you're right. Every week from here on out is big in the NFL. So, every team for the most part that, with the exception of, I think, the Niners and the Browns those two teams are eliminated, but every other team going into today has something to fight for. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where we go. And there are some interesting matchups today. I'll point that out. And at least in my opinion, I know some people might look at the card and say, not too much to get excited about. I beg to differ. I think there's some interesting matchups, and looking forward to talking about it.
Keep in mind, Ryan, no Browns today, so we don't have to worry about them.
No.
They don't play.
That's probably a good thing. People can't lose their money betting on them.
Right. Last 5 weeks, Ryan, we've had 5 straight shows, 32 and 21, 60%. We, again, guys, give away a free pick for every game. That's kind of hard, so remember, we try hard, we prepare for this show, and we give our best picks. So, again, if you played along, you're winning money. You've done pretty well. Last week, though, kind of a tough week for a lot of people I saw. Underdogs seemed to cash plenty in the in the certain games. 4-6 last week, so not a great week. But again, not going to be 7-3 every week, Ryan.
Right.
32 and 21, 60%. So again, we'll continue to build off that and give away a pick for every game here. Welcome to everyone out there listening, wherever you are. If you're on Spreaker or wherever you're listening, driving to a game, or you're at a tailgate. I know people tailgate and listen to this show. Best Gamblers done that before. So wherever you are, welcome. And thanks for listening. If you want to communicate with us, you can. All you got to do, go to the Spreaker app, click the message button, and you can chat with us. But remember, you say anything stupid, you're out of here.
Yeah.
NFL, you obviously have it at 1 o'clock, but at 12 o'clock, Ryan, we have the college football playoff. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, shake-ups and that, what we think is going to happen. Again, right. Because I think, to be honest, Ryan, are there any guys that are smarter about this stuff than we are, really? Do you really want to hear Joey Galloway's opinion? Really?
He's brutal.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Do you, Danny Kanell's a cool guy, it seems like, but they really care about his opinion?
I hate Danny Kanell.
So it's all right. So we'll break that down as well here. We may even actually live do it on the show, Ryan. We'll probably be right around there towards the end of the show. So let's jump into it here, Ryan. As always, you don't have to come on the chat box and say, can you break down this game? We'll break it down. Just be patient. 1 o'clock Eastern. Let's start it out, Ryan. 1 o'clock Eastern. Denver Broncos -3 at the Jags. Over under 38.5. You got Denver here with no Trevor Siemian. Now, if you've seen Paxton Lynch play this year, that's definitely not good. Paxton Lynch has struggled at times this year when I've seen him. Inability to move the football. And look, I will point this out.
Rightfully so, though. He's a rookie who hasn't had very many opportunities. He didn't win the job coming into the year. So, you can't go into his starts or this start with high expectations.
Right, and that's the point. If you're expecting them to move the ball and everything, probably not going to happen.
They'll score some points, but to come in and say, well, he's got so many weapons, they'll be able to score 28, 31 points, I think that's a little...
Well, I think you got to lean on Devontae Booker, a guy that, he's had 189 scrimmage yards last 2 games, playing pretty well. You imagine they're going to lean on the run game. And look, this line's kind of scary. You look at this line. Ryan, and again, I know they're movies and all, but I've watched documentaries involving the NFL days in Las Vegas. They'll go up to random people and say, who are you betting today? And someone will say, I'm betting the Broncos. Well, why are you betting the Broncos? Well, I'm a fan of the team. I just want to.
Yeah.
It's that's the kind of people that are betting these games. And I think if you look at this Denver game, it sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? 3 points against the Jags. Let's remember, the Jags, they don't give up a lot of yards. Problem is, they give a lot of touchdowns up. They're actually statistically fifth in the league defensively, numbers-wise. Problem is, they give up touchdowns. That's the issue. They've given up 293 points this year. That's kind of the problem. Denver, good against the spread, and Jacksonville has been a mess at home. They have not covered a game this year in Jacksonville. Denver, Blake Bortles, Ryan, we've talked about him. He's played decent lately. Keep in mind that he does throw a lot of interceptions. Denver has the best pass defense in the NFL, giving up just 194 yards a game. And he's going to do it without a lot of weapons today. Chris Ivory out, Allen Hurns out, Rashad Green out, Julius Thomas out. A lot of people out on offense for Jacksonville. They also have one of their better pass rushers, Jared Odrick. He's out as well. I like what I've seen out of Bortles lately, but this team, again, is 2-9, and a lot of people are out. This seems pretty square. I'm going to go with Denver here. I'm not in love with Paxton Lynch. I considered the under, but the number's just so low. I could see it squeak just over maybe. But I'll go with the Broncos. I'm not in love with this game, though, just because it does concern me. This should be a pretty public side. And the line hasn't moved, really, so.
Yeah, I'll take Denver as well. Kind of echo the same sentiment you said, Jeff, as far as not liking the game really. Look, Denver, I mean, I think you got to kind of get the narrative out of your head that Denver's an elite team, or this is the Denver of last year or 2 years ago. I mean, Denver's 7-4, solid. Don't get me wrong, it's a solid record this late in the season. But when I watch Denver, they don't, to me anyway, they don't pass the eye test to where I think this team can make a deep run into the playoffs, and who knows how this season plays out. Maybe not even be able to squeak into the playoffs if they still have issues at the quarterback position and whatnot. So I think the line is kind of justified, actually, simply for the fact that last week we talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I made the case that, look, this team plays close games every week, so maybe Vegas is starting to kind of see that, realize that, and say, hey, rookie quarterback making his second career start on the road against a team that plays close games. I think the line's kind of justified. I don't think this line should be 6-7 points. I don't. I think this is an okay number in my opinion. So I'll go Denver. I think the defense obviously is the key. And the fact that Jacksonville has so many guys out, to me, that's what separates me taking Jacksonville versus, or me taking Denver versus Jacksonville, Jeff, as far as the injuries are concerned for Jacksonville. I mean, Bortles is going to put up numbers because he passes the ball 55 times every week. I mean, that's just the world we live in. He's a fantasy quarterback. So no Julius Thomas. I don't think you mentioned that. He's not going to play today either. There's one more guy they don't have. I like Denver.
Pretty one-dimensional Jacksonville. Like you said, they don't run the ball particularly at all. And now they're placing the best pass defense. I think they're going to struggle today. Again, it is Jacksonville. They are 2-9, and they haven't covered a game at home. So I'm just betting this game or looking at this game because we cover every game. This is not going to be a game I'm looking at. But Denver should get the job done. Let's move on. Ryan, by the way, Ira, he's been a client of mine for a long time, 2 years or so.
Yeah.
I give out San Diego State the last 2 years to win the Mountain West, right? So he hedges the other side both times and hits those as well.
Yeah,
how about that?
That's great.
Air Force last year.
Yep. And
Wyoming last night. So he hits both futures plus the hedges.
Nice.
How about that?
Nice.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, that's nice. That's great.
San Diego's been really good as far as winning the conferences and just covering games. Let's move on to the next one. So we agree. Broncos in that one, -3.
Marvin Jones doesn't look like he's going to play. So I know you said that on the chat box, but just kind of echoing that sentiment. He's a long shot at this point.
That one's pretty solid, that Broncos play. But again, should be a public side. 1 o'clock, Falcons -4 at Kansas City. Falcons hosting this one, over-unders 50. 8-3 for the Chiefs, 7-4 for the Falcons. How about that? Ryan, the line's 4. At midnight last night, I saw this line was -6. A lot of Chiefs money coming in here. And look, rightfully so. I mean, they're 8-3. But, this Chiefs team is the most perplexing team you'll find. I wonder how they win games, honestly. With people they have on offense. Now, other than Tyreek Hill having an unbelievable game last week, a touchdown on a catch, rush, and a kick return. First player to do that since Gale Sayers in 1965. By the way, Gale Sayers did it twice in that year. So just because how good Gale Sayers was.
Well, sure.
But Tyreek Hill really been he's fast. He's probably going to be the fastest guy in the league.
He is.
I mean, my God,
he is.
He looks like. he looks like the Road Runner.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
He's real fast.
So fast. But and he was named the Offensive Player of the Week, I believe, last week in the NFL. Good for him. But yeah, I mean, Alex Smith, just probably the most moderately average quarterback ever, but, keeps winning games. Big Andy Reid, 8-3. How about that? And again, Ryan, we're in the situation. Atlanta's a favorite. Last 21 is a favorite. 5-16. Can you back them as a favorite?
That's the question we seem to ask ourselves every week on this.
They hit last week as a favorite. They're golden as an underdog, but as a favorite, they're just not very good getting money. Kansas City 4-2 on the road against the spread this year. But Kansas City's defense leakier than Kim Kardashian with Ray J lately. They just haven't been very good. 416 yards they've given up, and they give up 261 passing yards a game, which, again, Ryan, we know that's important because Atlanta loves to throw the football around. How about this stat, Ryan? When Atlanta has Julio Jones over 50 receiving yards, so when he has a big game, they're 3-4. When he has under 50 yards receiving, 4-0. So basically what I'm saying there is he commands a double team, or he commands the best player, and he opens up others to get and have big games. Taylor Gabriel, or whoever else they may have in that offense. You would imagine Marcus Peters would cover him today, so it may open up 3 or 4 other weapons to get their due today. And look, I think the Falcons, again, they seem to always dictate pace. All their games at home this year have gone over, and they're 9-2 overall to the over. 4 or 5 in this series have gone over. I think the Chiefs will be able to score the football as well. They should get into the 20s here. I think this is like a 31-27 type of game. I think this one goes over. I'm not interested in betting unders in Falcons home games. I'll go over here. I think both these teams are able to score, and this one will jump over 50.
Yeah, this matchup to me is, I really don't have really much on this.
Very tough side.
Just because it's tough siding. Atlanta, they don't cover at home. They win, but they don't cover. And the Chiefs, I'm trying to think how they're going to go into Atlanta and kind of put up enough points to kind of compete, because you have to think Atlanta will score. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to score into the 30s, but I think they should definitely score 24 to 28 points somewhere in there. I think they should be able to at home on that fast track inside. And, I mean, no Jeremy Maclin again this week. Alex Smith is what he is, and the Kansas City offense, I mean, basically they just want to kind of hang around with their defense, not make mistakes, not turn the ball over, and try to keep the game close. They don't do that. I mean, those are the games that they lose, and those are the games that they don't, cover. So, look, I'll side with your over, but simply for the fact that I really don't want any part in a side here.
The issue with this game is, you look at Kansas City and backing them here. Do you really want to bet? I hate betting against Atlanta just because of their offense and being at home and whatever. But then you look at the Falcons. Do you really want to back them because they don't cover as a favorite? And it gun to my head, I'm taking Atlanta.
That's kind of.
I haven't had a lot of luck with Kansas City. For instance, like last week we took them against Denver, or we took Denver against them.
Yeah,
played great. I took Houston a couple weeks ago against Kansas City. Kansas City decides. Or I took Kansas City against Houston. They decided to throw. He throws a pick in the end zone, Alex. Yeah. They're just awful. I mean, they're hard to back, and I don't want to get involved in the side here. Over's the play, I think, in this game. I'm just going to go with the law of averages here. Julio could go for 200 today. Wow. I would be willing to bet you a large amount of money that won't happen. Are you kidding? You can't be serious with that.
I don't think he gets close to that.
I mean, Marcus Peters is pretty good.
He's very good.
And again, the stat is there, 4-0, when he doesn't have 50 yards. It's like kind of use him as a decoy. Get him involved when you can. And
yeah, I don't think he gets close to 200, but,
Yeah. If he does...
that'd be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
That would be
but
pretty
impressive. I think Peters would shadow him. So
put him in the Hall of Fame if he does that. I'll go over 50 in this game. Ryan, you're going to agree with me on that one. Side's very tough. But I would maybe just go with the Falcons just because they're at home. Plus, Chiefs have been getting a lot of love here. But big game for both teams. Both teams very solid records.
That's another game that I think is very intriguing. Definitely this week, that's a great matchup.
1 o'clock, Green Bay minus 6.5 at Houston. Over under 44 Lambeau. It's that Lambeau field advantage here. So you're starting to see colder weather means more of an advantage for Green Bay. Ryan, today in Lambeau, 25-degree wind chill. Not bitterly cold, but definitely very cold. Houston, not, again, Brock Osweiler, I know he played at Denver, but, they're used to playing in the Dome and in Houston. And, look, we have to point out Brock Osweiler. I know and I'll give you your love here. You've mentioned you're not a Brock Osweiler fan, and you've been dead on with him. And we'll get to that in a minute here. Houston 1-4 on the road this year against the spread, Ryan. They have not been good away from home, and that even adds to the fact of why I don't like them in this game. They're scoring just 13 points a game on the road and giving up 27. Green Bay last week looked great against the Eagles. Rodgers was able to kind of do what he wanted. The pass rush was there, and they were able to cause some havoc. I'm just not interested in Houston on the road. I'm not interested in Houston in general. I fell into this trap recently with them, betting them. Last week I took them against San Diego. This fucking Osweiler had 3 interceptions. He has the most interceptions in the league, 13. He has the worst passer rating in the NFL at 72%. And you look at Rodgers in his career against the Texans. 2 games, 633 yards and 8 touchdowns. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out and say it. I don't think Houston's as good as defensively as people may think. Phillip Rivers kind of was able to move the ball against them. I'm not worried. Rodgers, 3 straight 300-plus yard games. He's playing well, right? We can't discount the fact that lately Aaron Rodgers has played very well.
He's hurt too right now.
And he looked great last week. I don't think Houston presents that much of a problem today. I think the defense for Green Bay will be liberal as far as they got to Carson Wentz last week, made it difficult for Wentz to move the football. I think it happens here again. I think Osweiler will struggle today. I like Green Bay in this game. I'm going to back them here.
I like the over. That's the direction I'm looking. I think both teams actually will be able to score in this game. I know this season that Houston has fared fairly well in the past, but against the pass. That's what I'm trying to say. Going to Lambeau, obviously, is very difficult. Rodgers, a little banged up with that hamstring, but I think he'll be able to get his. I think Cobb, Nelson, Devontae Adams, who's really kind of come on the last handful of weeks, should be able to do enough, I think, to score some points. The total is relatively low. I think this game, it's 44 and a half. I think this game should be 28, 27, somewhere. Both teams should get into the 20s, in my opinion, really. I mean, the only reason that Green Bay had a great night on Monday night defensively is because the Eagles just have no one offensively, no playmakers. I mean, who they trotted out last night or on Monday night was comical, and then you parlay the fact that Jordan Matthews goes down and doesn't play the entire second half. There's your best player on offense out. So I mean, you have to look at all that kind of thing. I think DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, those kind of guys.
Yeah, but they're not moving the football either. Houston.
I hear you, and this is a great opportunity for them to do that against one of the worst defenses in football, particularly one of the worst pass defenses in football. They have playmakers on the outside.
They looked pretty good last week
against the Eagles.
Houston's the same kind of team.
They have way more playmakers than the Eagles.
They haven't been able to score points. 13 points.
I hear you, but they have way more playmakers than the Eagles, and I think they match up well against a Green Bay secondary that really struggles. So I'm going to go over the total. I'm going to go over 44. I think both teams will be able to score, and I think the game gets over. So
over 44 and the Packers minus 6.5. Maybe a decent teaser spot. Get Green Bay down to a pick 'em. Take the over at what would it be, 38?
38. Yeah.
Pretty good play there. I could see that coming in here. But we'll go for the state of the show. Houston in Green Bay over 44, and we'll take Green Bay minus 6.5. So 2 plays in that one. A little bit of a double dip, if you will. Green Bay on the rise again. Houston's garbage in third. Yeah, I know. Yep, exactly. Jalen Strong probably not going to play though in this game. Neither is Clowney. So yeah,
exactly.
We'll
one less pass rusher to try to get to Rodgers. So
1 o'clock. Bengals minus 2 against the Eagles. Over under 42. Both teams here really struggling to move the football. You look at particularly, no A.J. Green for the Bengals. The run game has had issues. And Dalton, sacked 32 times this year. Again, another opportunity for Fletcher Cox to come out of the witness protection program. What's up with him? I mean, what's up with him?
We talked about this last week. I'm kind of annoyed talking about it. I mean, what do you want him to
do? Then don't do this.
What do you want him to do?
I'm asking. We're having a conversation.
I know, but there's
certain people.
I feel like we talk about this every week.
I want him to play like a fucking star. I'm sick of these fucking idiots.
He is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
he's fucking awful. He hasn't played well at all this year. What have you been watching?
If you actually look at the tape, I'll give you a guy to follow on Twitter. I'll give you a guy to follow.
I don't want to follow on Twitter.
I'm going to tell you off the air who to follow, and he breaks down film and he posts it on
Twitter. I
don't
care,
and it's
man.
Beautiful. No, you should care.
This defensive line stinks.
It gives you.
They don't have any.
No, Fletcher Cox, like I said last week, he's rated the third best defensive tackle in football. When he's not double teamed, he eats. He causes chaos. He gets into the backfield. He's one person. You can't beat double teamed every single play. It's just not humanly possible, dude. So if you're going to ask where Brandon Graham is, where Vinny Curry is, where 3/4 of the defensive line is, I will gladly echo those sentiments. But I think Fletcher Cox is playing well. Graham, Curry, Barwin, they're MIA. Absolutely 100% agree. Week in, week out, they haven't shown up at all, and that's an issue. And I would agree with that.
The crack epidemic around this area is pretty high. Ryan obviously smoking it as well.
Maybe do some research, man.
Maybe do some research.
Yeah. Maybe do some
So
research.
90% of the league.
He gets double team on the majority of his snaps.
Big deal.
Because he's the best player on the line.
So move him around. I mean, do something with it.
It's so easy. I forgot.
I mean, going forward, we're not going to break down Eagles games because Ryan is so far up the fucking ass of every play. It's pathetic. You're pathetic with this team. You're so pathetic. I mean, really.
It's the truth, dude.
No, you are pathetic.
It is.
Because during the game, all we hear about is how shitty they are, and then they lose, and, it's okay. No, they weren't just any good anyway.
I just said that
you're all over the place.
3/4 of the defensive line has been terrible the last 5 weeks.
Let me say something.
I just said that.
And I'm going to say it again. Before the season, you pointed out how good they were going to be and how you expect them to win this division. Now that they're not very good,
I didn't say that. I said they
would
win 7
games.
Good. I said they'd win 7 games, and they're 2 wins away from that.
All right, so let me not talk about Fletcher Cox because Ryan thinks he's having a good year.
I think he is, and I think a lot of people, other people do too. So
he's lost this team games by his stupid penalties at bad times. What have you been watching?
I would agree with that. Absolutely, he has had some bad penalties, sure, but I mean.
All right. Both teams have issues moving the ball. That was the main point of what I was saying there. 17 points a game for the Eagles, 15 points a game for the Bengals. Now, Ryan, are you going to tell me now that the receivers are having a good year for the Eagles?
No. Why would I say
that?
All
right. Well, because you said Fletcher Cox is having a good year.
Because he is. Why don't you...
He's not, dude.
You don't... Forget it.
He's not having a good year.
He is.
No, he's not. No one in the league will tell you that.
Actually, they do. People that actually watch film, break down film, they do. They actually do say that.
Okay.
Well, sacks aren't the only thing in the NFL that matter.
Okay.
I hate to tell you
he hasn't been good in any aspect. Okay. He's not good again. He hasn't done anything against the run. He hasn't done anything rushing the football, and he's had bad penalties week after week.
He has had bad penalties.
This isn't the first time.
I'll give you that.
It's not like he has
had bad penalties,
and it's not like it was a play where he it was just a bad NFL call. It was a bad play by him. Eagles have to get back to the run. That's something we can probably agree on. This team, last 5 games, 37% run play ratio. 37%. That means you're throwing 63% of the time with no weapons. Again, I'll go to Doug Peterson here. What's going to give with this guy? I mean, really. I know we can blame it on maybe it's his first year, he doesn't have any weapons, but run the football. 37% not good enough. Have to run the ball today. 28th in the league, Cincinnati against the run. I'll anchor the sentiment again. We have to run the football today if you're the Eagles. I mean, right?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, they've needed to run the football the last month, and they've neglected to do so. The one game that they did commit to the run, what do you know? They beat the Falcons. So I don't think it's any coincidence they need to run.
Eagles also have not been good on the road. That's been something that we've...
they've been downright terrible.
Yeah,
just come out and say it for what it is.
Yeah, I mean they've not been good on the road. But the Bengals are a hard team to back. Listen, looking at the Eagles, I mean, they should win probably, but will they? I don't think. I'm going to go with Cincinnati in this game. I'm not interested.
I think under's a very good play. I really don't know how either team is really going to score.
Eagles are
so
bipolar.
I mean, Jordan Matthews it looks like he's going to be out, and if he plays, he's very, very limited. And Cincinnati, the lack of playmakers that they have right now, extremely difficult. You got to think they're going to come out and maybe try to establish the run a little bit with Jeremy Hill, kind of get that clock moving, limit the amount of big plays. So an Eagles defense for what it's been okay. It hasn't been anything lights out, but it hasn't been hot garbage either. So I think they'll be able to hold their own, and I really don't see how the Eagles are really going to score that much. I like the under in this game, 42. I think it's a low-scoring, kind of drag-them-out game where both teams just are really struggling right now, and the Eagles struggle on the road, and Cincinnati, they're just struggling in general. So both teams, I mean, if you're not a fan of either the Eagles or the Bengals, this is probably one of the worst games on the card. This game's disgusting, if you ask me. So
I will look to back the Bengals on the money line, minus 130. I really don't want to get involved with laying 2 points here. This game could be 21-20 or something like that. 19-17. I'm not interested in backing the 2 points. I'll go with the money line, minus 130 here. But yeah, I mean, both teams, not a ton of playmakers on offense. Defensively, they've been pretty good. I'm not buying into the Eagles on defense. I'll say it again. I don't think scheme-wise, they time and time again, they look good for a series or two, and then you look at them and you say to yourself, what the hell is going on with this team? Their corners have been terrible. Their secondary has been terrible. So I don't know. We'll see. But have to get back to running the football, and that would equal unders probably for
I would expect both teams to kind of come out and run the football. I mean, really. I mean, Cincinnati doesn't have much on the outside, and obviously neither does the Eagles, especially with the loss of Jordan Matthews. I would expect both teams to try to come out and run the football and really just kind of get into a tight slobber knocker kind of game. So
another double dip here, Eagles and Bengals under 42 from Ryan. I'll go with Bengals on the money line, minus 130. 1 o'clock, Saints-Lions, another good game. Saints minus 6.5, over under 53. Yeah, again, I mean, if you're not a fan of Eagles and Bengals, you're right. Not a lot of people are going to watch these. Yeah, this one should be a good one, though. You got the Lions first place in the NFC North. How about that?
Yep.
They're 2 games ahead of everyone else, and Matt Stafford, playing well. I mean,
they're playing good football. Just as a team, they're playing good football.
Saints, though, at home, been really kind of hard to stop. 34 points a game, giving up 31, but their goal is just outscore you. Look, defensively, they have played a little bit better lately, but you have to think Matt Stafford's going to be able to have a nice game here. Lions been able to move the ball, and defensively, they've been average, not good, not bad, just kind of average. But you look at the deciding points in these games. Lions, no game this year has been decided by more than a touchdown. They always seem to play close games. Neither team really runs the ball particularly well. I mean, I know Saints have gotten back to it a little bit, but they haven't run the ball particularly at a high level.
Talking about the Saints?
Yeah, both teams.
And Mark Ingram's banged up too. He's going to play, but he's got a toe injury, so that kind of.
So I'd imagine both teams wing the ball around. I'm going to go over in this game. It looks pretty square.
Seems square, right? Yeah.
But, I'm going to do it. I think both teams will kind of be more run or pass heavy than run heavy. Dome game, kind of fireworks, back and forth maybe. I would side maybe Lions, though. I mean, I would love to get 7, but clearly we're probably not going to get that. I'm going to go over. Not in love with this game, but for the sake of the show, I'll do it.
Yeah, I would kind of go over as well. I mean, it does seem a lot of points for a 7-4
One thing,
team
though, real quick. I've seen a couple Saints games this year where it looks like an easy over, and like it's 3-0 after the first quarter.
Yeah.
I get some weird feeling that we're all going to bet the over here, and like this game will be scoreless after the first quarter.
It kind of seems that way. Look, the Saints, obviously, they play lights out at home. Drew Brees and that offense just seems to score into the 30s every week when they play at home, and the defense obviously is a hindrance, and the Lions should be able to score some points even without Marvin Jones. I mean, Golden Tate has stepped up, so I think that with Theo Riddick as well coming out of the backfield. Look, Stafford's been fantastic, and they've won the close games that in the past they've lost. So I'll go over as well, man. They should both teams should really be able to score. I mean, there's no excuse for these teams to kind of come out and struggle offensively. Really, I mean, this is set up for an over. So
yeah, I agree with you there, but not a game.
It's pretty cut and dry, right? I mean, if you're the type of bettor that likes to kind of go against the norm and the obvious, and just this is a game where you take the over. If you're looking at this like we're looking at it, just not really finding a way this game stays under, then that's the direction you go.
Yeah, I mean, winning picks, I'm not interested in buying half points and taking a game up to 7. I'm not in this racket to push. I'm not in this racket to play close. I'm not really high on it. I could see a game where, New Orleans could win, 38-28. I could see that. I'm going to just avoid the side here. Marvin Jones inactive, by the way. Someone was asking about that earlier. Over 53, I'm going to go with here. Bears +1 against the Niners. Why are the Niners a road favorite here? I mean, what's that all about?
Matt Barkley, I think, is where you.
Matt Barkley played pretty well last week.
But I think that's what you look at.
The fucking Niners are 2-8 on the road this year. I mean,
they only have one win.
Yeah, against the spread. I mean,
sorry.
They're 2-8.
Gotcha.
They give up 36 points a game on the road.
But
I like the Bears in this game. I think they're the better team, way better team. I think Barkley, for what it's worth, was pretty good last week. I mean, I think they have more weapons. I think, I feel like this is a game where, let's say the Bears win by 2 touchdowns. How can you continue to justify Chip Kelly? I mean, really.
Is anyone justifying him, though? I mean, he's terrible, man.
But isn't this like the kind of game where you lose big and you get fired? I mean, you have to go into work.
I'm not so sure.
How do you go to work every day and play for this?
I'm not so sure they're going to fire a guy 12 weeks into his coaching tenure, but I'm with you. I'll take the Bears here. Look.
But again, tell me why. Does anyone have a viable reason on why they're a favorite here?
I told you, Matt Barkley. That's why. But that's why you want an answer. You're going to ask a question. That's the answer.
But they haven't covered.
If Jay Cutler was the quarterback, Bears would be favored, and it wouldn't even be close. But the fact that Matt Barkley is playing in his second career start is a reason that they are an underdog. And Matt Barkley really shouldn't have to do a lot today. If John Fox and this Bears team were smart, they would come out, they would turn the ball, and hand it to Jordan Howard 30 times today. The 49ers defensively against the run is one of the worst displays I've seen in quite some time. I mean, it's a given that every week, if their opponent commits to the run, they're going to push to get 200 or so rushing yards a game. It's terrible. They are awful. And if you're John Fox and you're the Bears, there's no reason why you need to come out and have Matt Barkley throw the ball 30 times today. None. You need to turn the ball, hand it off, and let this team just kind of gash San Francisco on the ground, and then get that clock moving, kind of and get out of town. I like Chicago as well. San Francisco, man, they're just a hot mess, man.
I'm just putting it out there, and this is just a play that I'm going to make because when I'm up money, I take shots. Like yesterday, I took a shot with UCLA on the money line. I wouldn't do that if I wasn't up.
Well, sure.
You just don't.
It just doesn't make sense.
You have to take shots. You have to take a pretty good bankroll and grow it to a bigger. That's how you do it.
All right.
Today, I'm going to make a 2-team parlay, okay? I'm going to go with the Bears at +100 on the money line. And I'm going to take the Detroit Lions +230. I think they can win the game.
Well, sure.
It's a highly contested matchup. I could see a way where the Lions can win. I'm going to take a 2-team parlay that's going to pay out really well. I don't know what it'll pay out, but I'm going to take a shot with this, and I'm going to tell you guys that's something I'm going to give a try out on. So I didn't tell anyone about UCLA yesterday, so I'm going to tell you now. Bears, Lions, little NFC North action, 2-team parlay.
The Norris division.
Two money line dogs. Next one. Let's go to. So we agree. Bears +1 to play there.
Agreed.
1 o'clock. Patriots -13 against the Rams. Over under 45. Must be nice to be Jeff Fisher. Again. Listen, I get that there's a lot of guys in the league like Jim Caldwell and Jeff Fisher and Mike Mularkey, and guys like that just continue to Marvin Lewis, mediocrity. They continue to get jobs and they get paid, and you wonder to yourself, Ryan, you have a job. If you continue to do bad, do you expect them to keep you around?
Not at all.
No. And that's how most people live. But in the NFL, for whatever reason, mediocrity is okay. Jeff Fisher will. If he loses this game, I believe it'll be one of the next two games. He'll have the most losses ever as a coach. And he's never won anything worth talking about. How does this guy continue to get jobs? I mean, at what point does someone say, you know what? We have a new franchise in a new town. We're going to move on. We're going to get a young guy in here to coach. We're not going to deal with the fly fisher anymore.
Yep. Look, I
can't think they're going to win this game either.
I don't get it. Look, if the Rams lose today, they'll have Jeff Fisher will have just 6 winning seasons in 22 total seasons. Last season over 500 was 2008.
By the way, that's 8 years.
I mean, I'm like flabbergasted. Like, you would think maybe he would get fired. I mean, if you watch Hard Knocks, he's like, we're not going to be 7-9. We're going to be 9-7 or better. We're going to flip the script. You're not even going to get the 7.
That was for TV.
Like, you're not even going to get the 7.
I guess they like him just because he's the players like him. I guess.
It's stupid. I mean, it's stupid.
He's
you hire a coach to win. The kids like Charlie Strong, right? He didn't win, and he got canned. So it's crazy. So I don't get it. Without Steve McNair, too, I saw a stat, this was weeks ago. Without Steve McNair as his quarterback, his record is even worse. It's wild.
Interesting point by Sean. That's actually a pretty good point. He does seem to be like kind of the play toy for the NFL. Like he kind of just will do whatever they tell him, really.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's have a nice story here and draft Michael Sam, but then get rid of him in the like why even make the kid why even get the kid hype about it?
Right.
Like you knew you weren't going to keep him around. Like why are you talking shit to the kid like you're going to keep him around? Then with kind of the stuff in the this is a weird commercial. You ever see this commercial?
Yeah.
Dude, there's nothing worse than these local
commercials, local commercials,
these
local
locally
businesses,
shit commercials,
local businesses that put these commercials on.
Because there's with TV, there's an undercurrent of where you live. Like
yes.
we all get the
mainstream,
right, and then right before they come back on the air, they do these local undercurrent channels, and it's they're so bad,
they're just lame, yeah.
But So
we digress.
Yeah,
let's get into this game. A bad head coach. The grass is green and the water's wet.
Tavon Austin also not going to play. He's inactive. Right. Another weapon out. Rob Gronkowski out for the year. Poor Patriots. But keep in mind, Martellus Bennett, 300-plus yard receiving games this year.
Yes.
So he's been able to fill in admirably. This is kind of a tough one. Bill Belichick against a rookie. Going to be tough, I think, for Goff.
On the road?
Yeah. Patriots 8-3 ATS this year. And at home, last 21 games, Patriots have covered 14 of 21. By the way, it's snowing at Lambeau Field. They're going to have some snow there today, I think.
Look, if weather's going to be an issue, maybe I'll digress. No, I'm serious.
Not good.
I might just
pull it.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we jump ship and I'll come to the Green Bay side. Because if it's going to be a steady snow all day, I'm not trying to play an over.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Trying to play an over.
I wouldn't do it either. So, but it doesn't really matter though, because remember the Eagle game?
I hear you. But I'm gonna back.
You're gonna back off the over.
And come to
all right. So we'll recap plays at the end and get all of them out there. Look, Patriots. We all know what they do offensively. The Rams, 15 points a game on offense. Worst in the NFL.
Real good.
Yeah. Last week they gave up 49 points. Ryan, take a guess at how many yards they gave up in that game.
Last week to the Saints?
To the Saints.
I'll say 480.
You're not even close.
Really?
Gave up 555 yards. 346 passing yards. That's Baylor type of numbers there on defense. My God. I'm going to go with New England here. I think this is 38-17.
I'll go with New England as well. Under 2 touchdowns against a rookie quarterback who they scored 21 points last week against the Saints defense. That's terrible. And I believe the first touchdown was on the opening drive. So they only able to score 14 points from that point on. She's
one of the hottest anchors on here.
She's sexy, yeah.
Very hot.
She is sexy. And she's knowledgeable, too. She's smart.
And she's older.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Wendy Nix or whatever. Yeah, she looks good today. I'll go New England. Pretty cut and dry. I don't think you have to really spend too much time thinking about this one. New England, minus the 13.
38-17 looks pretty clear here.
That's the thing, too. And that's what makes, and I think that's what kind of makes the Patriots one of, obviously, and probably as over the last decade or so, the best organization in football is okay, they realize, look, Gronk's had some injury histories, right? I mean, look, he could stay healthy for the rest of his career, and that would be great. But if he does continue to get that injury bug, let's get Martellus Bennett in
That's
here.
why they're a great team.
Who's a reliable tight end. He fits what we like to do on offense. And look, now Gronk's out for the rest of the season. Let's just slide Martellus Bennett in there. Look, would we love to have both of them on the field and miss matches? Absolutely. But slide him in there, and he'll be able to make plays and fill in nicely.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they roll in this game. 1 p.m. Ravens minus 3.5 against the Dolphins. Intriguing game here. Over under 42. 6 wins in a row for the Miami Dolphins. How about that?
Yeah.
Tannehill's playing well. Jai's been able to run the ball, but we know, Ryan, Ravens, best run defense in the league, giving up just 75 rush yards per game. They've only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns all year. Even looking against like Ezekiel Elliott, they're pretty damn good. They didn't allow him to do too much. They're really good against the run, and you have to figure Ajayi will struggle here. Ryan, Baltimore, 14 points a game they give up on defense at home. Best in the league. It is a vaunting task going into Baltimore to play a game. And look, for what it's worth, it's not fun to watch games in Baltimore because they're not high scoring. They're drag out, knockdown type games. Baltimore's 7-3 to the under this year. Joe Flacco, very good numbers against the Miami Dolphins in his career. 1,036 yards. He's 4-0 with 5 touchdowns. You got to feel good about that as well if you're Baltimore. They've had issues moving the ball. Ryan, how about this? Another great talent. Again, you put someone into a system and they don't play well, but yet they play well everywhere else. Seems to always happen to the Philadelphia Eagles. Kiko Alonso having a renaissance year.
Yep. 91
tackles, 2 interceptions, and 4 fumble recoveries.
Yep.
How about that? So it probably wasn't Kiko. It's probably just the system.
Oh, if
add him to the Rajah Bell list,
right? But if we had him, we wouldn't have Carson Wentz. So I'd rather take Carson Wentz over.
Just saying. I mean,
but no, you're 100% correct. Maxwell, on the other hand, has been kind of. I have a lot of friends. It's weird. We live in Pennsylvania, and I have about 4 of my closest friends are Dolphins fans. Very odd. And they watch every game like we do, and they said Maxwell's been terrible, but Alonso has.
Yeah, he had
he's always around the ball.
Big tackle last week to end the game, and I say the Rajah Bell effect, Ryan. We know what the Rajah Bell effect is. Rajah Bell years ago was a kid that played for the Sixers. Didn't get any sort of looks ever from Larry Brown. When he did play, he'd always hit a big shot. Always. They let him go. Yep. He goes to the Suns and has a great career. It was just a constant with the Sixers for years, and it seems to run over to the Eagles as well. For me in this game, I think it's a tough game. I'm going to go under, though. I think the Dolphins and Ravens will both play close to the vest. Low-scoring game. Just seems like when the Ravens play, it's low-scoring. Not in love with the game, but it's hard to back aside here.
Look, Devontae Parker, he's banged up. He's going to play today. He hasn't practiced all week with a back issue. All it takes is one hit, one wrong move for that back to flare up, so he could be out. Jimmy Smith, quarterback for the Ravens, who missed the last 2 weeks, insert him into the lineup. He's good to go this week. That obviously helps that secondary and helps the defense for the Baltimore Ravens. I agree, Jeff. I think it's going to be a kind of a drag them out, kind of both teams just, really kind of struggling to do things offensively. Ravens, great defense. The offense has struggled all year. Miami, look, tip your hat to them, what they have done in this. What have they won 6 in a row now? So, look, I tip my hat to them. Some pretty good wins as far as against Pittsburgh and at San Diego. Other 3, not so good. Other 4, not so good. Some lesser teams, but we'll learn a lot about the Dolphins today. I'll side with the under as well. If I had to pick a side, though, I would take Baltimore.
This guy on the chat box breaking my balls about one bad day in the college basketball. I'm 21-12, fuckhead. Get the fuck out of here. Chris Barr again having some fun. Kill yourself, dude, will you? Put us out of our fucking misery, dude. That kid never quits, dude. What is it?
Well, just people never.
What's it? 8:48 in the morning out on the West Coast.
People never quit. You want to know the difference? And look, I don't toot my own horn, but this is where you separate good people from bad people. Look, remember when SBTV came out, right?
Yeah.
Did I like them? No.
Not really.
Did I listen to them? No. Did I break their balls? No. I just said, look, I don't like their product, so I'm not going to listen. If you don't like our product, just don't listen. I mean, it's simple as that.
Right.
Like, why have to break people's
It's
balls?
Chris Barr. I mean, it's
right,
clear.
but I just don't get it. If you don't like something, just remove it from your life.
By the way, again, it's 8:48 on the West Coast.
It is
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
You have 5 kids.
Yeah.
Why are you on here?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
I
really don't have.
I want people to listen, but
I don't have answers for those people.
Again, you kind of got to take a look at the mirror. I mean, really, it's time. I take a look at the mirror all the time. I mean, I know I have flaws and things I need to work on.
Well, sure, everyone does.
But it's time to take a look in the mirror. Let's move to the 4:00 games here. How does Fisher get an extension? We've talked about that. We have no idea. Cuban, take a look back at the show before. He's Cuban. You talked to him on the Paris.
I thought it was Mark Cuban, maybe.
4:05 Raiders -3 against the Bills, over under 40.5. Ron, I heard an analogy about the Raiders, and it may be true, it may not be true.
Okay.
But I feel like in this game, it's going to be true. Raiders are a favorite here against a pretty decent Bills team. I mean, a team that you can run the football, pretty solid team. The Raiders are like a girl at the bar that has really tight pants on, right? Mm-hmm. She looks great. Body looks good. Looks like she has a fat ass. Like, just really dynamite. You start talking to her, you get her to your house. You start playing around a little bit, you get those really tight spandex that's pants off. Then you see that it really wasn't as good as you thought it was.
Right.
Like, her ass looked nice, but then you find out, well, really wasn't that nice because she had such tight pants on. That's what the Raiders are, I think. I don't know. Bills, I actually like. I like their run game. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Bills here. I don't have a lot on this game. I'm just not in love with the Raiders on defense. I think they'll do enough against David Carr or whatever, Derek Carr. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not really high on Buffalo. I don't think they're average. They are what they are. Look, Oakland, they just always kind of seem to find ways and get it done. They've won 5 in a row. They have one loss over their last 9 games or something like that. So look, they're playing good football and they're getting it done. Good wins against Denver. This is their 4th straight home game. So I mean, they've been in Oakland. They've been at home for the last month. They went to Mexico quickly for that Houston game, but still, I don't know. I kind of like the over. I'm surprised you like Buffalo here. East Coast team going out West Coast team that's been at home for the last month pretty much. So I'll side with Buffalo with you, but it's really not.
The tough one.
It's not too much to care about. So.
Yeah, we'll go Buffalo +3, but I'm not in love with this game either way. I think the Raiders are getting a little too much love as far as from the public, that kind of thing. I think the Bills would be a live dog today. 4:25, San Diego, Tampa Bay. I didn't do a lot of research in this game because both these teams I have no read on at all. Like, I can't ever pick either of these teams correctly. Last week we thought Seattle was the play. Tampa Bay comes out and just rolls them. San Diego, I mean, time and time again, I bet against them and they fuck me. I guess we'll stay true to the show and give a play for the game, but I don't want to. I have no interest in this.
Yeah. Could be a lot of points today. Maybe
I'll go.
It's a high total. I don't know.
I'll go over 49. Fuck it. I hate having to give an opinion on this game though.
Yeah, look, Buccaneers coming off a very big emotional win at home against Seattle, where they hold Seattle to 5 points, which is extremely impressive. Now you got to go to San Diego, a team that is so Jekyll and Hyde to where you don't know what to expect. I mean, they go on the road last week at Houston and get a win. The week before that, they lose against they're just so hit or miss. I'll go over as well. I think this game to me is similar to that Tennessee game that San Diego played. about a month ago, where it was 43-35, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. That's kind of similar to what I see today. So,
yeah, I hear you. But for the sake of it, we'll go over. Whatever.
Yeah.
425 Cardinals minus 2.5 against Washington, over under 48.5. Definitely looks like kind of a trappy-ish type of game. I don't know. I'm not interested in Carson Palmer at all. Every time I seem to want to bet the Cardinals, this great defense they have, they get shredded. So again, another game I have not a real opinion on. I'll go Washington. I'm sorry, guys. These 4:00 games, I'm not interested in. Really.
Well, no, I don't think they're anything to get excited about, Jeff, at all. As far as from a fan standard or from a betting standard, actually. I like Arizona in this game. Actually, we seem to have one of these a week where we disagree. I'm gonna go Arizona. I think Washington. I think it's a tough matchup for Washington. Just kind of East Coast going to West Coast. Washington's playing some good football right now. I know they had the extra little break from Thanksgiving.
Washington offense rolling.
Washington, yeah. Look, Kirk Cousins has been fantastic. I don't know. It's kind of a hunch play, really. I think Arizona kind of shows up today and upsets Washington. But yeah, not in love. Really not in love. So. With this game, but
it's really a tough one. So
it is.
That one will cancel out, so we won't have to worry about it.
Right.
Steelers minus 6.5 against the Giants. Over under 49.5. Giants 6 straight wins, Ryan.
Somehow.
How about that? You're not giving them any respect.
No, I don't think they're that good.
Yeah.
I don't. They're 8-3. Their record is what their record is, but Can we talk about who they've played in this little stretch here? Okay, they won at home against Baltimore by 4. Then they beat, which is a good win. They're a solid team this year. Then they beat the Eagles, who aren't very good, the Bengals, who aren't very good, the Bears, who aren't very good, and the Browns, who are terrible. So, this will be a huge test for the New York Giants to say 8-3 is our record, and it is what we are, and snow coming down in Green Bay, but this will be tough. Steelers coming off Thanksgiving game where they had a couple extra days to prepare and rest up a little bit. So I like the Steelers. I'll come out and say it. I like the Steelers here.
Do we want to answer this?
You can do whatever you want, man.
Fuck you.
But yeah, I like the Steelers in this game. I think the Giants kind of get a little exposed here in Pittsburgh. If the game was in New York, different circumstance. I don't bet against Pittsburgh at home. I don't like doing it. Historically, over the years, they seem to always show up and cover at home. At least when I get involved with them, anyway. So I think the Giants kind of digress a little and take a step back. So I'll go with that three-headed monster of the Pittsburgh Steelers here, Jeff.
Yeah, I think at home they also play a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not a big believer in the Giants either. I feel like Eli Manning will come out and show his true colors, I feel like, at some point. And it might be today. So I'll side with you here. But I will point out, I'm not interested in any of these 4:00 games. I actually have to go to Philly today, and I'm totally okay with not watching any of these. It'll be one of those things where I'll go down to the city, right, and I'll probably go to some sort of corner bar, and these will be on, and I won't really care.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're.
I'm kind of mad.
Maybe Washington, Arizona. I'll tune in a little bit just because it's a divisional game as far as Washington goes. But Pittsburgh, New York, I'll probably check out too. But yeah, nothing too exciting, buddy.
Tedrake trying a teaser. Detroit plus 16.5. Giants plus 16.5. New England minus 3. Yeah, I don't really do a ton of.
So it's a 10-point teaser, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, good luck, man. You should be good. Those are not that difficult to hit. You just need, all you need though is just one bad.
Yep.
You just need one bad thing to happen. But Ryan, it sucks because, like I said, I am going to Philly today, and the Chiefs play at 1:00. They have a big game, and I actually would be kind of interested in going. There's a bar in South Philly called Big Charlie's, Ryan, 11th and McKean. It's a Chiefs bar.
Oh, really?
And they have always a great group of guys there that love the Chiefs, and always kind of a good place to go to watch a game.
That's so funny that the bar is in Philly,
South
Andy
Philly,
Reid was the head coach for the Eagles, and now he's the head coach.
Well, yeah, he actually.
I remember they actually did a piece on that bar
Yeah.
when Andy Reid came back to Philly 2 years ago, I believe it was. And
Yeah, it's about dead center in South Philly. I mean, 11th and McKean, and I mean, they love the Chiefs. They love their Chiefs. So, yeah, let's recap here, Ryan. Then we'll jump into a little bit of college football talk, and then we'll wrap it up. We like the Steelers -6.5. No opinion on the Cardinal game. We evened that one out. We like Tampa Bay over 49, Bills +3, Ravens under 42, Patriots -13, Bears +1, over 53, Lions Saints, Bengals money line, Bengals under 42, Green Bay -6.5, Kansas City over 50, and Broncos -3. So pretty good good stuff there, huh? Right?
Yep.
Let's see if we can't
Yeah, let's hope to have another good day.
keep it going. Yeah.
Get back off the schneid after last week, and we'll see what happens.
I just got this text, Ryan. Listen. Hey, fat boy. I'm coming to Lancaster in the next few weeks. You want to run your fat mouth? You going to get your ass beat. Like I tell anyone that says that, you're welcome to come whenever you want. Knock on the door. All you got to do.
Yep.
You get a katana to the fucking neck.
A katana.
Prick. All right, good luck, man. Enjoy the NFL.
Only
today.
about 1 minute here till this
Yeah,
selection. show
let's
kicks off.
jump into it. College football yesterday. Washington Friday night, they get the job done.
Yes.
Alabama, they get the job done. In a big way yesterday.
When was our show? Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Western
Western Michigan, they win but don't cover.
We both thought it would kind of be chalky, and it was
pretty much
Well,
was.
not as far as
Clemson
covering
covered.
goes.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about covering goes. I'm just talking about winning in general and trying to set things up for the playoff. Seems pretty cut and dry, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, as far as who do we think is going to be in, again, the show's about to start here, so we will probably have it live here on the air. But before we get into that, and they do that, let's.
It's 4 hours, the show? Damn.
Well, they break that. They do every game.
I know they'll go. I know.
So, coaches making their case every game.
No, I know.
So, just recapping, Western Michigan, they get the job done winning the MAC. Washington hammers. I mean, I was about dead right on that game, wasn't I?
We both liked Washington.
Yeah. Temple, how about that? Surprising result there. They not only beat Navy, but they took it too.
They embarrassed them.
Will Worth injured. That kind of hurt them. Wild game in the Conference USA. West Kentucky gets the job done against Louisiana Tech. Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, which, who cares, because no one gives a shit about the Big 12. Alabama, we mentioned. San Diego State, we mentioned. They win the MAC. Clemson. I mean, Clemson. Can we just realize they're not very good?
I gave up.
They should not be in the final.
I gave out Vatek.
I'm going to say that again.
I gave out Vatek on the show. I told you it'd be close. I mean, when they play teams with a pulse, the games are close.
I firmly believe, and I know Clemson won the ACC, but who gives a shit? The ACC sucks.
What did I say to you last night?
They stink.
That conference is a joke.
Penn State should be in over Clemson, I think. I think the Final Four should be Alabama. This is who I want, and then I'll say who it's going to be. I think it should be Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, and Washington. That's my, if I could have a perfect day, that's what I would be. But I think it will be Alabama, Ohio State, Washington, and I think it'll be Clemson, but
They will. They'll get it.
I think you should make a case on Penn State, though. I mean, I don't want to because I hate Penn State. I hate the program. I hate watching them. I hate everything about that group. I hate James Franklin. I just hate them all. But, I mean, they beat Ohio State. They beat Wisconsin. They won the Big 12 that title. I mean,
My thing with Penn State,
but they lost to Pittsburgh.
And look,
I mean,
right. My thing with Penn State is they didn't do. I feel like they didn't do really much to get there. Like, look, they only lost one conference game, but they're really only their toughest conference game was Ohio State. They got blown out by Michigan. The rest of their conference slate was relatively easy. Kind of had everything break their way. I mean, if you know, and look, I'm not going to sit here and say Michigan should get in because look, they have 2 losses, and if they didn't lose to Iowa, that's a different story. But they did, and they screwed themselves. So look, we won't talk about them. I don't think they'll get in. I think at the end of the day, when this comes out, whenever this gets released, I think we'll see Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Washington. I think those will be the 4 teams that we see. And it'll be interesting to see. It's funny too. All these teams that are vying to try to get that fourth spot. Washington, Penn State, Michigan, whatever. You're getting that fourth spot, and guess what? You'd have to play Alabama. So if it's Washington, good luck to you trying to play Bama. I think Clemson, Ohio State would be a fantastic matchup.
They're having a cute little watch party up at Penn State, and that's cute and all, but you're not getting in, so you might as well just.
But if you're a Clemson State fan, or a Clemson State, is that even a school? No, if you're a Penn State fan, a Penn State player, this team has overachieved this year, and be happy with a Rose Bowl if that's the bowl you get. I mean, to think that they could have been in a Rose Bowl in September when we had our first show, if you would have told me Penn State was going to win 10, 11 games, be a Big Ten champion, and go to the Rose Bowl, I would have said you're nuts.
They were 60-1 at one point to win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
60-1. How about that?
I hear you.
They also would probably play USC, which would be a pretty damn good Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that's
James Franklin. It's on you now, committee.
Yeah,
shut up, dude.
He's classic. Dude.
He's annoying.
Like 4 weeks into the season, you were probably fretting for your job that you were going to get fired.
Yeah. Tommy Tuberville and Cincinnati are parting ways. He's going to move on.
Is he?
Yeah, he resigned. Cooper Bateman will transfer, so someone's going to get a good quarterback, you would think. A new system, I guess.
Okay.
He's not going to stay in Alabama. I guess he sees the writing on the wall there.
Yeah.
By the way, Jalen Hurts, I know they rolled yesterday. He didn't look too good. I mean, I know their run game was great and their defense played really well, particularly in the second half, but I'm telling you, Alabama, against a team that, runs up tempo, that can really score the football, I think they're going to struggle. I really do. You said it yesterday. I mean, they haven't played really anyone. They played USC with Max Brown at quarterback, which I think if it was Darnold, that would be a different result there. I'm telling you, I don't think it's as easy as just give Alabama the title.
Yeah, they're clearly beatable. I said a couple weeks ago that I had a hunch that they weren't going to win. I'm not sure who's going to win, but I definitely think they're beatable. Look, they looked disinterested yesterday. If Austin Appleby was not the quarterback of Florida, that game could have possibly been a different story. I mean, defensively, Florida came out on fire, flying around, making plays, really limiting Alabama offensively. And Austin Appleby with just some very bad decisions, some really awful throws. The Minkah Fitzpatrick pick six was thrown right to him. If he puts that ball on the money, like a quarterback is supposed to his wide receiver, in stride, that receiver, that's a huge play, maybe a touchdown. I mean, those are the fine lines to where, Alabama, very good team. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely think that a few of these teams that could get into the college football playoff can definitely make it a game and possibly sneak out the upset and knock off Bama. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. It's. I don't know what to say. Just because Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, I think are in. The Final Four team, I mean, with Washington, I mean, so if Washington gets in, the committee is saying to teams, we're okay with you scheduling 3 absolute joke cupcakes of schedule in non-conference. Because you can win those games, kind of get your win-loss record up to and not have a chance to lose any of those games and still get into the college football playoff. Look, I think Washington will get in. They'll get in. They played extremely well in the conference. One loss to USC. They dismantled Colorado. Granted, Colorado's quarterback was banged up, but whatever. They dismantled them. But I just have an issue with the non-conference schedule for them. I mean, you couldn't have scheduled 3 worse teams than Washington did, and I think that needs something to look at going forward for this playoff committee to say, look, you need to be held accountable for scheduling those kind of teams. So that's an irk I had. That's just kind of something I wanted to get off. I wanted to kind of get off my chest. So.
Yeah, but we're not going to wait around for these.
No, because it's obviously going to take forever.
Take 8 hours.
Absolutely.
You need 20. You need a reporter. You need a reporter in every town.
Why do they have someone? Look, I love Michigan. Why do they have someone in Michigan? They're not getting in. Like, why is Gene Wojciechowski there? Like, Jim Harbaugh's not even there. He's out recruiting right now. The kids are nowhere. They're not at Schembechler Hall. They're nowhere around. Like, why is he there?
I don't know. No idea. But one thing I know they will do, they'll definitely put it out before the NFL. I don't get why there's no one because I mean, no offense, the NFL probably people will click over.
I was just saying, once it's released, people aren't watching this.
No. But all right, guys. So Final Four, I think it'll be Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Washington.
I think it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, I mean, I just
what it was last week.
Yeah, and Penn State again.
Everything held serve.
Go to the Rose Bowl.
Everything held serve. Yeah. Yep. So.
So yeah. Anything else, Ryan?
I don't believe so. I think we did. We covered everything.
This is the kind of nut job people I deal with, right? I want to put this on the air because I want people to know the kind of psychopath this guy is. Send address, or I'll go to your parents. You've been talking shit for years. It's time to handle your shit. We got a serious problem, bitch. I have your mom's cell number. I can give it to you. No offense, dude. You know my mom. You know my mom.
I do.
My mom would knock him the fuck out. Listen, this isn't the first time someone said they're gonna. My dad's told you that story. I think maybe he hasn't. Listen, this isn't the first time someone said, "Hey, I'm gonna come to your house." You know what my dad said? Come on over.
Yeah,
we're waiting on you, bro.
Yeah.
You act like my parents don't know about him. My parents know about him.
Right.
My sister knows about him. We all know he's a fucking nut job.
True.
You know?
True.
Just leave me alone. I don't bother you. You ever notice I don't talk about him until he comes on and starts acting stupid?
No.
We don't bother with him.
Yeah.
We don't ever bother him. I don't call him. I don't deal with him. I don't ever bother him. I'm being harassed here. I don't know how to fix it.
You can't, unfortunately.
I mean, just how about this? How about you come to my house, and if you beat me up, that's it. I'll admit it. What are we, 10 years old here?
Yep. It's sad, man. It really is sad.
But I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stop it.
Nothing you can do. You just kind of have to.
I just have the text and I can save them. That's about it. So.
All right, everybody.
Everyone have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern. We will break down the Monday night college basketball card and the NFL game and react to what went on today in NFL and with this college football playoff. Everyone have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Enjoy the NFL. Bye-bye.